All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So Donald Trump is officially cutting Session 8, and we're talking about a certain amount of people. Now, you have 2 years to figure it out, most of you. The majority of you is viable to find some type of work. You have 2 years to figure it out. Otherwise, you will be out of these places. You have particular individuals who is talking about it, knowing that they are also on that list. And they don't have that much time. And it's a lot of things are going to happen within that time frame with these people that is on Session 8. Some of these people been on it most of their life. And they will tell you otherwise. Some of these content creators, you know who they are, is on Session 8 right now. And they're talking about this, they're talking about that. How you doing? Tell your husband I say hello merrily. And what's gonna end up happening is they're going to say it's a racist thing, it's a prejudicial thing. No, it's not. It doesn't matter who the culture or ethnicity you come from. If you are on Session 8 and you've been on it for a long time, people want their money. People want their taxes to be used correctly. Now, eventually, taxes will be abolished, you know, to the point that states are going to stop, taxing people so they could have more money eventually. At the same time, right, the cuts need to happen. It's time for people to stop being lazy, being comfortable. And so now we're going to see who is who, what is what, who is going to be kicked out and why they're being kicked out. And this is going to make people be more responsible of their decision making on how they move. This is why it's important. Do not be around corruptible people. Do not be around miserable people. Be not around these deities, these entities. You have to separate yourself from these people so you don't get caught up in the trap that they try to lie out for you, have you out there in thin air. And so these particular individual content creators who's talking about Session 8 need to find some type of work of providing, because now YouTube ain't cutting it for them. You know, the lies and the slander is going to demise them even more. You get what I'm saying? So, hey, just be prepared to see a uptick, you know, of people who's talking about it is on it. That's who's talking about it, the people that's on it. You know, it was meant for people to have it back in the days when they felt on hard times. They didn't take advantage and stayed on it for a long time. You get what I'm saying? They found some type of work. They reported their income and they paid what they had to pay. And they got back on their feet, got out of that situation, and started providing services and doing better in their life. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's time to clean house. It is time to clean house. So what I'm going to do is play this clip real quick. Let's get to it right now. All right, let's get right to it. Da, 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 da. Let's get to it. You're going to have these content creators who are going to lose their mind. Okay. Let's see if I find it. Let's see if I can find it. I think I talked about it already. Okay, we're going to go to this. We're going to go to this new station here, okay? Okay. Let's get to it. Let's get it ready. Okay. Here we go.
People using Section 8 housing programs. Voucher holders locally have received letters warning them of federal funding being halted and potential rent increases. Western Mass News reporter Matt Price did some digging for us on this, and he joins us live from downtown Springfield with more. Matt?
So this is in Massachusetts. Taking y'all to Boston, Massachusetts. Somewhere in Massachusetts, they're doing this. All right. They're going to talk about this. All right, let's go.
Chris, this just adds to the drama of so much uncertainty many face across this country. That includes those who rely on these vouchers for safe and affordable housing.
On March 13th, the Commonwealth's Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities sent a letter to Section 8 voucher holders, warning them that their rent in the next year or two might go up because of, quote, rising costs and insufficient federal funding. And the agency will have to stop its flexible tenant policies. Here's some of what is stated in this letter obtained by...
You see, and that's also due to the lack of funding that's being invested into the government in these northern states. In particular, the northern states, it's going to get hit more harder. That's not to say that's not going to happen in the South. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the northern states is going to get hit the hardest because there's a lack of income, coming in from successful people. Let's go.
Western Mass News this afternoon. It says, quote, unfortunately, we can no longer afford to offer many of these special policies to our participants and will have to return to using many of the same policies that most other housing authorities use. The letter goes on to say, we understand that will increase costs for many households, but we made these choices to ensure that our program can serve as many households as possible given limited federal funding. Now for
given limited federal funding, did you hear that part? They get limited federal funding. Why is that? Because they are protecting certain groups, certain entities. And now they will have to meet the consequences of not moving correctly. Let's go. So they say no longer pay security deposits, nor earn income deduction and rent calculations, no utility allowance for hot water / cooking, no extra grace period, $480 of a full-time student income counting. Wow.
For context, here are some of those policy changes. EOHLC will no longer pay for a household security deposit, no more earned income deduction in rent calculation, no utility allowances for hot water and cooking, no extra grace period for lower payment standard changes, and $480 of a full-time student's income will be counted. Advocacy groups are keeping their eyes on these recent developments, including Arise for Social Justice here in Springfield. Housing and economic justice advocate and organizer Liz Busey says these changes will have a strongly negative impact and fears current Section 8 voucher holders are scared and are currently looking for other resources to survive.
So it doesn't matter the culture or the ethnicity. You will be affected if you're not moving correctly. You will be affected.
30 days notice is not enough to try and supplement your income. And supplementing your income is going to get you in trouble because you can't, not legally anyways. And so people are going to be suffering left and right. They're already looking for food pantries. I've had 3 calls about whether we have any utility money to help people pay, and that's just this morning.
Busey says this move could also mean an increase in evictions and homelessness. She also tells us the number of people sleeping in cars at the moment is going up. Right now, Arise.
People are sleeping in cars is going up. Yeah, cars is going to be the new rent. Car is going to be the new rent for many of these people. They're going to be sleeping in their vehicles. You know, go get a van. If they allow you to get a van.
For Social Justice is collecting tents in case people need to sleep outside, and they are collecting information about services in the area.
EHOLC says the changes will go into effect on or after May 1st at the voucher holder's next regular or interim rent certification. We tried reaching out to EHOLC for comment on this matter, but we did not hear back. Stick with us both on air and online as we continue to follow the latest. Reporting live in downtown Springfield, Matt Price, Western Mass News.
Yep, it's about to get real. I'm going to show you something right now. How serious this is. Hold on one second. All right. You have to see this. All right. Let's get right down to it. All right, here we go.
And here in California, Governor Gavin Newsom is escalating the state's push to crack down on dangerous homeless encampments.
The governor has released a blueprint asking cities and counties to address these encampments with a sense of urgency. KTLA 5's Lauren Lister live now at LA City Hall with the details. Lauren?
Yeah, Glenn and Lou, the governor putting out a model ordinance for cities and counties to adopt, to implement, even with some changes in order to address homeless encampments that are unhealthy and dangerous. Take a look. Here's some of the street encampments in our area in South.
Y'all see this? Y'all see this? This is Southern California, y'all.
Southern California. This is what the governor is calling on cities and local governments to deal with. even saying that they should use the authority of a Supreme Court decision last year that ruled local governments can enforce public camping bans against homeless individuals, even if there are not enough available.
And some of these people are working a 9 to 5. Some of these people are working a 9 to 5. And they go to the local gym to freshen up and to take care of their essentials, whatever they could afford at that particular time. And they're right back in the streets all year round. Let's go.
Available shelter spaces. His office also says they're coupling this model ordinance with the release of $3.3 billion in voter-approved Proposition 1 funding to expand behavioral health, housing, and treatment options for the most seriously ill and homeless in the state. The key provisions of the model ordinance are a prohibition on persistent camping.
And it's just Alice was telling me that the people in Hollywood can't find no work, and some of them is living in these camps too. You got some folks from Hollywood living in these camps, not just ordinary people, that fell on hard times. Let's go.
In one location, a prohibition on encampments that block free passage on sidewalks, and also a requirement that local officials provide notice and make every reasonable effort to identify and offer shelter prior to clearing an encampment. We spoke to LA City Councilwoman Tracy Park, who tells us she supports this and plans to take action.
I'm supportive of this. I'm going to be introducing.
These people are out of touch with reality. The majority of these people in office is out of touch with reality. Let's continue.
Legislation tomorrow in City Council calling on Los Angeles to begin implementing what is a common sense and balanced approach to managing this madness that has been allowed to go on the streets in our city for far too long.
She represents Westside communities, including Venice. She's calling on the city to implement the governor's proposals in line with the systems the city already has in place. One that sticks out to her that the government has recommended is a 3-day limit on camping in public. She says that after services and shelters have been offered in encampments, the city can't keep taking no for an answer. She says it's not safe or healthy for anyone, saying LA has to implement some enforcement tools. At the same time, there is polling that indicates that a lot of officials in California have concerns with using law enforcement when it comes to homeless encampments. So,
yeah, it's very serious, y'all. And with these cuts happening, it's going to be an uptick.
Grandma, mommy just called me. She said she's waiting on some long line.
I'm community reporter Carson Wells here in San Luis Obispo. Today I spoke with Mayor Erica A. Stewart and other Central Coast city leaders about how a new ordinance from Governor Gavin Newsom will impact policies here on the Central Coast. They all tell me that for the most part they've already implemented the ideas outlined in this new ordinance. This week, Governor Gavin Newsom introduced a new ordinance designed to help cities crack down on homelessness.
It's a lot of stuff going on. I'm just waiting for this thing to get back to normal. Oh boy, computer's freezing up again. Computer's freezing up again. All right, I'm back. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Hopefully y'all can hear me loud and clear. Yeah, I should be back. Okay, let me try. All right, there we go. I'm back. Yes, it's very unfortunate, Marilyn, what's going on. It's very unfortunate. I want to say to the people to not be in fear. Just get your act together. Get off that program so that you can take care of your family. You've been on it too long. You've been on it too long. Yeah. These people that's been on it since they was young until now, they better get their act together. better get their act together. So, hey, look, I'm not going to be on too long. You know, a lot of stuff going on. I'll be back on live later on today. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that's going on in a great way. So much stuff going on in a great way. All I can say, all praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High of what He's doing for us. We winning over here. You know, many of you are winning in a multitude of ways. And so all I can tell you is that get your act together. Get your life together. And take this very serious, because there's a lot of changes need to happen in this country, in the world. And it needs to happen, you know. We do have empathy for people. At the same time, some of these people, they're not moving correctly, and this is why they're getting caught up in this situation. You know, so to you folks in the northern states, I know you got a lot on your plate, and I'm just letting you know that there's a lot of cuts happening because a lot of people is leaving the northern states. People with serious money is relocating to the south. You know, like a lot of big investors is going to Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina. And yeah, let me just put it in order. Florida, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Georgia. Those 5 states are seeing a influx of big companies, tech, the list goes on. It's moving to the south, to those 5 particular states. You know, that's what they're invested in. And they clean it up, y'all. They clean it up for real. And you could see it here, even here. They're starting to clean up little by little in all the other places, the other cities. You know, you don't want to get caught up in the evil side of things, the sin. You know, if you sin it, own up to it, change your ways. Change your ways. You know, we got a serious change happening, y'all. You know, Trump is not playing. The Most High, most important, he's not playing. And this is why it's important to get yourself back in great shape, stay healthy, change your diet, you know, cut down on certain things. And you'll get your answer. You will definitely get your answer. So, hey, look, I appreciate you, Mrs. Marilyn and Mr. Edwards. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show. And those who's watching in the clouds, you know, get ready to, you know, especially if you're in the South, you know, the children starts getting ready to go to school, the older ones, and then the younger ones later on. So shout out to you parents in the South. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different ball game. You got to get up early when you have a teenager going to school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because they go to school real early, especially down here in Florida. Yeah. Shout out to the parents, you know, that is getting off that Section 8 and, you know, saying, okay, I've been on it long enough. I got to change my ways. You got to. That goes for any ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? It's just that so-called black folks make excuses the most of why they don't want to do better in life. Why they don't want to do better in life. I forgot to get rid of this banner. Why they don't want to do better in life. So, hey, it's official, y'all. It's about 36 billion, 23 billion cut off from the federal. So that's a lot of people going to be off of Section 8. You know what I'm saying? If they don't get the act right, they're going to have to pay more. And if they don't have the funds, they're going to be kicked out within 30 days. So you got to make the adjustments. So with that said, y'all, I'll holler at y'all later.